Okay, in the FA Cup, early kick-off in the fourth round, the lunchtime kick-off, Brentford have lost 1-0 to high flyers in the Premier League, Leicester City. It wasn't the best game of football, but you could tell it was a cup tie. Both teams very similar setups and tactics, both teams fighting over the midfield. Both goalkeepers played well. Daniels and Ward both played very, very well, some very, very good saves. The goal on 4 minutes by Iheanacho is a thing of brilliance. The passes from Pratt and the cross from Justin, the right back, into Iheanacho was a brilliant, brilliant piece of team play, quick passing, quick, incisive play. It was the best bit of play in the whole game, I felt. But Leicester and Brentford would both have their chances at various points in the game. The first 15 minutes was all Leicester. I think Brentford were a little bit sluggish out the gates, maybe a little bit overwhelmed by the fact it's the definite last FA Cup tie at Griffin Park, sellout crowd. But then after that, they played their way into the game. They disrupted Leicester's flow. And as time went on, Perez, for example, found himself a bit more frustrated. They shut him down eventually, although he was creating chances early on. Damari Gray, this is the problem with Damari Gray. He's brilliant at times and then pretty frustrating at others. He had a decent game, high energy game. Mark Albrighton, again, high energy game, although he did start to tire towards the end. Brentford as a whole played very, very well. The second half, they were the better side. They really made Leicester work for this 1-0. And they calmed down after the first 15 minutes. They could have lost their heads and conceded a hatful of goals. But this is why Brentford have the best defence in English football. They've conceded very few goals this season. They have the best defence in the English professional leagues. I think it's only 21 goals conceded all season. So they have a pretty solid defensive structure. Yes, they had a lot of changes in that defence, but these players would be training with the squad, and even if they're not first team regulars, they would be training in that defensive system that they have in place at Brentford. They are chasing promotion. They made 9 changes. Leicester made 9 changes. They've got a League Cup semi-final in midweek as well. Brentford are playing a key game against Nottingham Forest in midweek in that playoff hunt out of the Championship. But overall, it was a pretty well-played game. I think both sides showed a lot of energy. There were some players who really were putting themselves in the shop window, especially from the Brentford point of view. High energy game, not necessarily the most skillful game or the best overall game I've ever seen, but the energy levels shown by both sides, the fact there were no yellow cards throughout the entirety of the game shows the way, even though there was a lot of tackles going in, there were free kicks, the way the game was played was the right way. Both teams wanting to play out from the back. And this is where Leicester got stuck in their half in the second half. Those 9 changes, while some of the players who were coming in have been or are regular first squad regulars, there were 1 or 2 young players in that starting matchday squad. Brentford, again, 9 changes, some new players who've recently bought in the transfer market. And it did disrupt the flow of the game at times. There was a period in the second half where there wasn't much going on. Brentford have hit the post, they've had a goal rule offside, and Danny Ward has pulled off a brilliant save late on in the second half to keep it at 1-0. And Brentford, do they deserve a replay out of it? Quite possibly. I think they were the better side in the second half, but it was that first 15 minutes where they were very sluggish out the gates that has cost them. They could have conceded after 15 seconds. They really were sluggish out the gate. And at times, some of their young players did look a little bit lackadaisical, a little bit, not up to speed with the Premier League players are nicking balls off them. Chowdhury in midfield, for example, making tackles all day long for Leicester City. But, Leicester, without Jamie Vardy, can still win games. Iheanacho has shown that I think he deserves even more game time under Brendan Rodgers. It's going to be fun to see who they get in the 5th round, the quarterfinals. And Brentford, they've now can fully focus on their Championship promotion push to the Premier League. I think they're not far out the automatic places. They're in the playoff places. They've got a key game on Tuesday, so resting those players was necessary. But it does show they have a lack of scoring depth when their main players aren't playing. The BMW forward line, as they call it, their 3 most prolific goal scorers weren't playing today, who scored 70% of their goals, and that also told in front of goal that they are missing some key pieces. Leicester, while not at full strength today, showed that you can make changes and still have a very effective lineup. Wes Morgan, even though he's in his mid-30s, still showing that he's a physical presence and still a good leader. And they also, Christian Fuchs as well, one of the other senior players, man of the match, and I think that is rightly deserved. His clearance off the line after Brentford hit the post, and it was also his passing plays. His attacking play was brilliant, but defensively he was pretty solid as well, making some key clearances and some key tackles. And overall, I think Leicester, that first 15 minutes, if you start quickly and get a goal, it can make it a bit easier. But they need to improve, I think, if they are to win the FA Cup. They also need to, I think, as a team, yes, they've still got that win, but there needs to be some of their younger players coming in. They need to possibly get some more game time and fitness of some players as well. You know, the juggling of squad depth shows that Leicester do have some squad depth. They can win a game by not playing well. But overall, not an overly disappointing game. We've got 2 live games on the TV tomorrow, which will be real fun to watch as well. And for now, thank you very much for watching. Place your thoughts below and have some more videos for you very, very soon.